Kathy Clement with Kathy by Design, and this is Throwback Thursday. This is a little weekly series that I do where we dig back into our stash of older retired products or older retired designs, and we make something new and fresh. So this is the time that we're going to do our monthly Graphic 45 Time to Flourish Desk Calendar Folio, and you're going to need the sheet, the Flourish sheet, and the cut apart sheet for June from the 8x8 and the 12x12. That's what we're going to be working with, and this is what we're going to be making. It's a beautiful desktop bookshelf. It's so much more than just a card folio. It is so beautiful. So we're going to make this beautiful cover design. This will stand up for display. On the inside, we've got fun little inserts in unexpected places, little itty bitties. So I love little things like this. Here's a little pocket folio made from scraps. This little tag, this all lives right here under this belly band. In the pocket, which is also the stopper, we've got another little 4x4 folio and this little ledger sheet. So you can put a photo on the back of that and you can write down important dates. And then of course in the hidden pocket on the bottom, we've got another folio. This has got this pretty calendar page. Inside we've got a pull-out element, so fun. Little pocket with little inserts, and down here another pocket with inserts. So, and we kind of dressed this one up a little bit too. I used a lot of my scraps differently in this one. The basic design is the same as what we've been doing every month. So if you're new to this, if you go to my playlist and you look for Throwback Thursday, you'll find all the calendars that we've done up to this point using this collection so that you can follow along. So there is that. Now, let's go ahead and get rolling. You're also going to need, I'm just going to bring this in. These are my scraps. You're going to need 2 sheets of a sort of it's a very soft sort of vintage pink cardstock. You're going to need this it's almost aqua blue, 2 sheets of that, 8.5 by 11, and then 2 sheets of cream, 8.5 by 11. And we're going to get started right off the bat building the folio base. And like I said, this goes together just like almost all my folios. The first step, you're going to cut 2 6 by 8.5 inch pieces. You're going to join these together on the 6-inch side by overlapping them about 1/4 inch, and you can use score tape. You can use liquid adhesive as I'm doing. I just recommend that you don't use a tape runner because this needs to be strong. It's gonna take a lot of wear and tear. So I'm just burnishing mine down, and you can see it almost disappears. It's a really cool, way to make a big piece of paper from 8.5 by 11. Bring in your scoring tool and place this big long side and score at 6. Oops, score at 3, score at 6, score at 6 1/4, and fold. All right. Then you're going to score it again at 6. You're going to bring in your cutting tool. So now line this second 6-inch score line up at the 3 on your cutter and trim. Take this little piece, cut 2 almost 3-inch pieces from it. Score these in half. And fold. These are the gussets for our pockets. So I've just folded these pieces in half. The folded edge goes against the cut edge of the paper, and just line it up along the edge. I usually run my finger along there to make sure that it's not poking out. No one ever sees these, but what these gussets do is they allow us to use the full width of this pocket. All right. So this one needs to be trimmed. I always check. This one was a little long, but that one's perfect. So once you've put your gussets on, you just place your adhesive. Just like that. Super easy. And then fold all those scored lines to make your easel card base. Okay, now we're going to start working on the front of our card. And I've cut a 6 by 6 inch panel of the cream cardstock, topped this with a 5 and just over 5 3/4 inch of the pink, and then 5 1/2 of this from the 12 by 12. And then I just stitched these 3 layers together on my sewing machine. I use a top stitching needle for those of you who have asked. So from your 12 by 12 sheet, cut out this tree that may in summer wear a nest of robins in her hair. And from the 8 by 8, cut out your June ledger. And these are both matted on the pink and the cream. And I use narrow borders because I need the real estate. This takes, if you go with too wide a border, you won't be able to fit this on. So this first piece is going to go in the corner like this, all right? And then you're going to come in with this piece. And this is going to go at an angle, just like this. So it's going to hang a little bit. Let me get this angled right. Okay. It's going to go a little bit over the edge, but that's okay. All right. So that goes down. Then I took this April in Paris small René Bouquet's doily, and I heat embossed it with Wow Vintage Champagne. And I used burlap string to build a little nest for these eggs. And I just took a little twig piece. This is a real twig. And these little plastic eggs that I painted with speckled egg and then spattered with brown. And then these little bird feathers. So this is going to glue right here. And put a nice amount of glue down there. And you can see, I'll show you, this is how I glued it on the back. And then this is going to go right here. Okay? Just like that. Now, I know you're all going to ask me, how do you make the nest? So there's probably a lot of different ways to do it, but I just take a long piece of burlap string and I start by winding just around my pinky finger a few times. Then I add another finger, then another finger, and then my thumb. So I've got this little bundle, right? It kind of looks like this. I put my hot glue down on the table, a nice puddle of it. And then this sets in there like that. All right. Careful because the glue is hot. All right. And while the glue is wet, I put the little eggs in there. I got these at a craft store somewhere. I don't even know where. I've had them for a long time and they're almost gone. But they look like this. All right. And while the glue is wet, I put those in there so that they'll be stuck in place And I just kind of arrange them in there. Okay. And then I come in with my paint and I paint them with the speckled eggs. I use gathered twigs to paint the burlap. And then these little bits, this is just lichen and stuff that I've picked up from, my daughter picks this up for me on as she's walking. And I just tuck that in there to give it that natural look. So that is that. Okay, so now we're going to add our bow. And this is French blue delicate stitched satin. This is a 3-inch bow. And I'm going to put my glue right there in that corner. Place my bow. I'm going to put another little dab of glue on top of it. And this is iridescent metallic string. And that goes on top of that. Then this is a leaf from Rene Bouquets. It comes with the dusty blue flowers. And I just take this wire stem and I wrap it around my pick tool, see? And then I can glue that in there, just like that. And then the rose on top of that. So there's that little detail up in that corner. Then I have this charm. I'm pretty sure I got this at Frilly and Funky, and I think they still have them, although it's hard to know. It's been a long time since I was on that team. But I think if you go to Funky Junkie Boutique, you can probably find this. And this you don't want to try to glue down with hot glue because it won't stick. So this is going to go right here. And then I have this, I think this is Aurora Borealis Blue Butterfly from Rene Bouquets. And this goes just like this. All right. And that's the cover of the card. Now we're going to work on the hidden pocket that goes on the bottom of the card base. So this is a 6 3/4 by 6 1/4 inch piece of that cream cardstock. And I've scored 1/2 inch on top and bottom and 1/2 inch on the right. And we're just folding these in. Come in with your scissors and trim out these corners. So can you see where these two lines intersect? You want to go right there with your scissor, okay? Bring in your card base. I'm right-handed, so I want my opening on the right. If you're left-handed, you might want to switch it around. So here's what I do. This is going to go this way on the bottom of the card. Okay, so here's your card closed. Flip it face down. Then bring in your pocket. Center it up. Pretty sure I got that straight. Yep. Then burnish it down. And now you can see the opening for the pocket is on the right. If you are left-handed and you want the opening on the left, just reverse the way that you put that down. All right? So now to go in that pocket, let me bring this in. You're going to need a 5 1/2 by 11 inch piece of your pink cardstock. Score it in half at 5 1/2. It's going to face, I know this is weird, but you want the fold on the right because this is going into your pocket this way. If you're doing it left-handed, you want the fold on the left, all right? So from your 12 by 12 cut apart sheet, cut out the month of June, and you want to trim it so that it is, I believe, 5 3/8. Actually, 5 1/4 is perfect. All right, and this is going to so here's my fold, and I know it looks like I'm doing this wrong, but you just have to trust me. Center this up like that, all right? And then from your sticker sheet, take the Time to Flourish sticker. I've backed it on the branding strip just to give it a little more height. And this is going to fill in the little gap along the bottom. So line this up so you've got a nice even border. All right, so that's all in the world you're doing to the front here. Open this, all right? And now we're going to use it vertically like this. And for the top, this is the 8 by 8 pad. And this is 8 inches by 5 1/4. I scored it at 5 1/4 and then just folded it to make this little flap. So this little page goes on the top like this. Then on the bottom, this is from the 12 by 12, and this is a 5 1/4 by 6 3/4 inch piece of the Flourish paper. Score this at 5 1/4 and turn up to make a pocket. And then you're just going to add little gussets to the side. It doesn't matter what paper you use because these won't be seen. Okay. And then this is going to glue down on the bottom. So for the top, go into your 8 by 8 and trim out the sunshine and smiles, and then cut it into two 2 3/4 inch pieces. And these are going to go on the top and the bottom. Actually, I think they might be slightly below 2 3/4. Just go a tick below and you won't have to trim yours. Then from your 8 by 8, from your 12 by 12, cut out this row of the 3 little tags and the little butterfly, I don't know, icon thing. Score between the butterfly and the smiles, score between the smiles and the tag, and accordion fold it like this. Place adhesive on the back, and you want to line this up in between the 2 border pieces like this, all right? And you can put, I like to come back so I make sure that I'm not getting, to make sure that I'm not gluing this part of it to the base. Now for this little piece right here, you can cut this and cut this. Put a little glue here, put a little glue here, and turn that into a flap, into a little pocket. And then if you look in your 8 by 8, you'll find a little tag that will fit in there very nicely. Then if you open this out over here, you want a 5 1/4 inch scrap. And I'm just going to put adhesive. I'm going to make this a very simple pocket where I'm just putting adhesive along the edge. And then this is going to go right here like this. Boom. And then cut a 5 1/4 inch piece of the sunshine and smiles. And this is going to go along this edge. And I want the blue against the pink, not the pink against the pink. But you can do it however you want to. All right. So just like that. And then in this pocket, you can put in some of your cut aparts and things from the 8x8. They'll fit in there nicely. And I like to go ahead, and before that glue completely sets, I like to come in with a bone folder or a ruler and just kind of open it. I want that to glue just on the edges if at all possible. So I'm just encouraging that to be open. All right. So that finishes that. Very cute, and you'll put something cute and small, maybe a postage stamp or something in that pocket. So down here on this pocket, you should have another piece of this Sunshine and Smiles Time to Flourish little strip. Go ahead and trim this to 5 1/4, and this goes here. Just like that, just to kind of line that pocket a little bit. And then to go inside, you're going to cut out your small June, cut it with the honeymoon and summer on the side and score between it, and that will fit in here. Here's your small tag to go in your little pocket up here, and that finishes this out. You can't load these up too much, because otherwise it won't fit in that hidden pocket on the bottom, and you won't be able to put any photos in. So that finishes this, and this just goes inside the hidden pocket. All right. And it doesn't push all the way in. This little piece sticks out from the bottom. So that's that. All right, let's go to work on the inside of our card. And on this bottom pocket, you're going to need a slightly larger than 5 3/4 piece. It doesn't have to be a full 5 3/4. I just used a scrap. It just needs to be long enough that it's going to, you know, cover up. It doesn't have to go all the way to the bottom because of the pocket, is what I'm trying to say. So line this up. And some of you might be asking why I close the pocket and then put this on top. Well, there is a reason for that. It's because it covers up those gussets so that things are going to slide in and out of the pocket more easily once the pocket is completed. So then I have a slightly smaller piece of the pink. Same thing, it's just going to slide down in here. All right. Then from the 8x8, I have the piece that's left over from cutting the flap page. And this is 5 1/2, and I've left the branding strip on, so it's 3 1/4. And we're going to put this down on the pink side. So that this just goes inside the pocket, because no one looks inside the pocket. And then from the 8x8 postage stamps, you're going to cut out this strip. I can see I need to trim this just a teensy bit on each side. Yeah. So I'm going to take about a 1/16 of an inch off of each side so that it fits a little more precisely. And then just glue this to cover up that branding strip, and this fills in the gap. Isn't that a good trick? All right. So just like that. All right. Then for the pocket, we have that piece of the cream that is 5 7/8 by 2 1/2, and then the pink is 5 3/4 by 2 1/4. So I'm going to put this so that the wider piece is actually at the top. And center this up on the blue. And this is going to go on the bottom. Like this. And then you have this other piece of the Sunshine and Smiles border that you're also trimming to 5 1/2, and that's going to go right over the top, like a little cuff on the pocket. So that works perfectly. Just like that. Bring in this Time to Flourish sticker. And we're going to do it opposite the way you would think you would do it, because this is going to be part of our stopper system for the card. And I'm just going to put these kind of like this. And then one in the center. And I want this to be right in the center. And I backed this with a scrap of pink cardstock just to kind of help it pop a little bit against the background. The dimensionals and the pink cardstock help with that. So then look in your chipboard and find this pretty little floral tag. And this is going to tuck up in here like this, okay? At an angle. And glue that down. Just like that, okay? Then I have 2 of these little dusty blue roses. I'm going to twist them together. And I've got a small leaf. And this is going to go right here, like that. And then these 2 little roses clustered over it, like that, okay? And then in the center, this is a Melissa Francis resin rose that I brushed with Versamark, and then I heat embossed it with the vintage champagne. Then I sprayed it with this Tattered Angel Silk Glimmer Mist, hit it with a little water to kind of dilute it, and then hit it with my heat gun. And this is going to go like this, okay, in the center. So there's that. Then another bow. And I want this clustered, I want to cover up the little tab hole for the tag. So I want this to go right here. I'm just going to hold that until it dries. There we go. And then our little rose on the top of the whole thing. Okay, so that finishes all the pocket details. Okay, so for in the pocket, you're going to take the June, I don't know what that is, like a ledger pad maybe. And this is cut to just over 4 I cut the blue to just over 4 by 5. And then I glued the June on there and then turned up. This is about 1 1/8 inches on the bottom. And this way it fits in the pocket. Otherwise it's too tall. So that goes in there. And then I took our sunshine, matted it on a, hold on, 8 3/8 by 4 1/8 inch piece of the blue, scored it in half, and then that goes in there as a little folio. So that takes care, that completes that bottom pocket. Come up here to the top, and on the top part you're going to need 2 of these cream that are 5 7/8 by 2 7/8. And then from the 12 by 12, you're going to cut 2 5 3/4 by 2 3/4 inch panels. And the pink one is going to go on the top. Then look in your 8 by 8 pad, and you should have this little strip of postage stamps and these little sentiment icons. Just put a very thin bead of adhesive along the bottom and sides. Glue this down in the corner to make a little wee pocket. And then if you look in your 8 by 8 pad, you have these 2 teeny tiny bits left. Fold them in half, cut a 1 by 1 5/8 inch scrap of your paper. We're going to make a little book to go in there. It's so cute. And take your Time to Flourish chipboard piece and glue it on the front. Okay, so that tucks in there, so sweet. Then on the bottom, but before you put the blue piece down, this is the little honeymoon and summer scrap. And let's do this over here. We're just going to fold this. I don't want to cover up my little bird. Well, okay. Yeah, I'm going to, because we cut its head off. All right. Then just glue these back behind. All right. Like this. And now you can glue this down. Right here. So our little tag goes in there. Then this is just, I'm just working with scraps, you know, I like to make as many things as I can. So this is just slightly over 2 5/8 by 2 3/4. And I've got a scrap of my designer paper. And I'm going to glue down like this. Then here's another little bit. This is 1 inch. Yep. So I'm just going to put, again, a very thin bead of adhesive. Like this. And then I took these little tickets from the 12 by 12 and cut them apart and put them in here. And then this tucks in, let me see, this tucks in like this, and this tucks in like this, all right? And then there's one postage stamp left, and if you want, you can glue it down right here, or you can put it in the pocket with the little tickets. I think I'm going to glue it down. I'm only going to put my adhesive down the middle, though, so that I don't end up gluing it to anything. All right, so that cleans up most all, I mean, there's so little scraps left. It's kind of unbelievable. Look. I mean, you've got enough that if you wanted to cut and fold, you could make some sort of a little wee book or something, but that's pretty much it. So now what we're going to do is place our adhesive on the front flap. And I always do it on the flap because that way I don't make the mistake of going over that fold. Bring in your cover, line it up. Press it in place, and there you go, folks. There's our June Time to Flourish Desk Folio made with Graphic 45. So that's it from me, Kathy Clement, Kathy by Design, for this Throwback Thursday. And I'm going to clean up my mess, and I'm going to go get my craft on. Thanks, guys. Bye.